Hello and welcome to the Please Do Tell podcast. I am your homegirl, Ronnika, and we are here for another installment of Storytime. So, y'all, you know it's December, so new stories, new month. Who this, right? But a lot happened last month because you all were hanging in there with me for the 30 days of Still Thankful and transitioning into this new venture that I'm doing. But this past weekend, y'all, before I even get into the story time of At the Playground, because this month I want to talk about really the holidays, but this episode is going to probably send you on a roller coaster ride because I'm going to talk about memories of growing up and how I really enjoy the holidays to what I'm doing now and how just even give you some tips. I'm going to read an article to you to give you some tips if you are a person that is grieving during the holidays. So let's get to it. Let's get into what I've been up to and a little bit more. So this past weekend, I was able to be a participant in a pitch competition. Can you believe it? That was the first time, y'all. That was the first time I've ever pitched myself. So I was able to talk about Story Salon, the journey of many souls, and retracing their steps. And it was just, well, I didn't place, but listen, your girl walked away with a whole lot, okay? So I'm really excited for the women that were standing alongside me, pitching their businesses, and especially for the women that were able to walk away with a prize. But I feel like we all really, I know they probably like, oh, that's cliche. Listen, we walked away with a new network. Just think about that. A new network of women that we can now celebrate and get behind and champion. So I'm really giving a huge shout out to Sisters in Business that is in Kalamazoo, Michigan, that decided to have 9 dynamic women pitch their business. It was really a whirlwind of a weekend, and it has motivated me, kept me excited, and actually brought me here today to be in the studio with my homies, okay? Okay. All right, y'all. So we're going to get right into At the Playground. Okay. Growing up, holidays, lit, okay? I'm going to even, when this show or right before this show airs next Tuesday, I'm going to show you some photos of me opening up presents as a little kid because Christmas is and has always been everything for this girl right here. It was always, I don't know if it was really about the presents or really being in a household with really the coolest siblings ever, my brother and my sister and both of my parents. But there were some things that I don't know if my sister should tell this story because it really traumatized her. It was an artificial tree, which I think it worked because, listen, we pull that thing out every year and get to decorating, and it would look like a live tree. And then it was also easier for the cleanup. Anywho, I was a little girl, maybe 5 years old. My brother was still living at home, so maybe, I don't know if he was home for the break, like from college, or if it was right before he graduated. Not sure which one it was again. Now I feel like I'm going to have to call my sister and say, girl, what year was that? So I was in front of the television. We had a floor model TV. I'm definitely not aging myself, okay? We had a floor model TV that sat in front of the big picture window, right? So the sofa was against the wall. So we're facing the TV. But next to the TV is our big old Christmas tree. It's literally, it has the whole corner on lock. It ain't moving, right? So there's a few presents under the tree. My mom's in the kitchen cooking, which is right off from the door is open. It was right off from the living room where we're watching TV. Watching TV, I think I was playing dress up. And my sister said, you're in front of the TV, move. said, "Tuh." I kept spinning. She said, "You're gonna fall. Move. Get from in front of the TV." Now, if you know the relationship between my sister and I, we used to fight like cats and dogs growing up. But it was only because I loved being around her and she was sick of me most of the time. Now we're besties. My brother's sitting on the couch. He's not even getting in the middle of it. He's just watching us go back and forth as he usually jumps in on my side and we would tag team against her. But he didn't do that this day. I'm spinning. She said, "Sit down, you're going to fall." I kept spinning. Next thing you know, I'm under the Christmas tree. I did that final spin and flew all the way under the Christmas tree. And my sister, she couldn't even laugh. She was just looking like, "I told you." My brother is laughing uncontrollably. Like, I'm upset. I said, "What? Why are you laughing? Like, this isn't funny." My mom comes out of the kitchen. She's trying to figure out what's going on. Only thing she sees is her child is under the tree. Her child is under the tree. She's asking what happened. Now I'm crying. My brother's laughing. I'm mad because he's laughing. My sister has just started laughing now because she said, "I told her to sit down," and she didn't sit down. So my mom said, "Well," and walked off and went back in the kitchen. Because I was wrong. I should have sat my butt down. I should have sat down. But I didn't. So you know what I do now that I'm older? I listen to my sister. When she tells me to stop doing something, I stop doing it. "Nika, stop doing that." "Okay." "You know you grind your teeth." "Okay, stop doing that." "Okay." Now I listen. All because of that one moment. But that's just one of the many stories that I can talk about when it comes to Christmas. I don't have any stories of when, I didn't get Barbie's dream house. That's not my story. That's the story for my sister to tell, but that's definitely not my story to tell. Cause she I think she's still in her feelings about it. But I was always asking for books and board games that my siblings didn't want to play, but I still asked for them. And so I would say that growing up, I had some fantastic Christmases outside of that one, eating tree. Okay. We're going to go right into the next story as soon as I blink. There it is. Okay. You ready for the next story, y'all? Okay. This is probably going to be a little tough for me to get through, but I'm going to do it anyway, okay? Holidays have been quite different for me, not just since my father died, but way before that. I grew up in a household that both sets of grandparents were in my hometown. One of them, one set of my paternal grandparents were actually the closest. I can get to their house by car in 3 minutes. Well, my parents could. It's not like I was driving back then, but I mean, even now, I can get from my mom's house to my grandparents' house in 3 minutes. So that was you go from, you spend a little time at this grandma's house, you get a little plate, then you leave and you go to the other grandma's house, and that's where the cousins are that are your age and that you play with all the time. So you are just really anticipating the end of the night because you're like, listen, I'm finna close it out. I'm starting it with these cousins and then I'm closing it out with these. So it was always a great Christmas. My dad's mother died in 96, and I would say that my Christmases have looked different ever since then. Imagine one year you are going to the family home and everyone's gathering. It smells like love and sweet potato pie in the air. 1 year. And then 12 months later, It looks totally different. You're not even going over to that house to gather. There, her room is not the same. The house just doesn't feel the same. People aren't coming over like they used to because she's no longer there. And I started to see a change in my family dynamic. My Christmases were never the same. So fast forward, I go away to school. I come back, and it's turned into like, oh, I'm going home for Christmas. Yay, family. But it was more of, my friends are going to be there. So not only do I get to spend time with my family, my immediate family, I get to spend time with my friends. And just even here recently, one of my good friends has said, I don't know what it's like to be an aunt. This is a friend that has children, but she said, I don't know what it's like to be an aunt. And then there was also a meme that said, I think it said, millennials, your best friend's kids are not your nieces and nephews. Mine are. I didn't grow up during the holidays watching children, as I got older, watching children open any gifts. I didn't have that with my family. My holidays looked a lot like just really me, my mom, and my sister. And the more I think about it, the more that I am reminded of why I even decided to do this family search after my dad died. I did a little bit before he died, but after he died, I was really in search of making those new memories during the holidays. Christmas is not a warm and fuzzy time for me because December 26, 2012 is when I heard the doctor say, your cancer has spread to your femur bone to my father. The day after Christmas, he tells me this. Well, I'm hearing this news, and my dad says absolutely nothing in the doctor's office. And I just remember leaving out and watching as we were checking out. I remember looking at the fish tank, and I remember laughing. I was like, oh my gosh, it's just a bunch of Finding Nemos in there. And then, people were like, clownfish. I said, I don't care, they're Finding Nemos. That's how I was introduced to them. It's just a bunch of Finding Nemos. So that was like my sweet spot after hearing such devastating news. And then you stay until maybe the beginning of January because you're trying to wrap your mind around the news you just got. And my dad was gone February 13th, 2013. So less than 2 months after me hearing that news, he was gone. So a lot of people asked me, even when I started doing the Final 48 project, it was a lot of people looking at me as a guide of how do you grieve in your own way. And I'm going to tell you, some years is tougher than others. This year we haven't experienced Christmas yet, but last year was a little rough. The year before that, it's like it comes and goes. The year before that, I was able to spend the holidays or the week of the holidays with the family that I had just found in Detroit. And they were able to share some photos with me, so I would feel that connection to these ancestors that I had no idea existed. So I've been very intentional about making new memories during Christmas because they've been a reminder of what I used to have and what I always wanted. If I can even say like my biggest regret, and I usually don't have them, but I thought about it even before coming into the studio today, is that I remember asking my dad, like, are you mad I didn't have children? Are you upset? And he said, no. Why would I be upset about something like that? I said, cause you're amazing with children. Clearly you did a great job with us. And like, that's something I didn't give you. And he said, it's okay. It's really okay. And I remember having that conversation with him maybe weeks before he died. I moved around so much. I didn't sit still long enough to, sometimes I feel like, let love find me, or love found me and then I just like, ooh, I don't know if I want that. That's scary. Or I tried to do things to self-sabotage or sabotage so it wouldn't happen. Because I was thinking that, what am I taking? Am I making new memories? Am I building my own family now? So these are just some of the things that I think about during the holidays. It's not like, oh, woe is me, like I'm lonely or anything like that, because I always find a good time. But my family structure is not the way that it used to be. And I had to go to therapy to talk about that. I had to really work through it myself. Talk to my mom about it. Like, hey, I love when we do get together. And we do the same thing. We eat, we laugh. I have a mimosa or two. And we have a good time. But boy, do I wish that things were the way that they used to be. But we know that time changes things. And we can be in a place of making new memories. But I wanted to provide you with some tips to get through the holiday. I know that our Auntie Oprah, after she lost her father, she provided quite a few articles and everything about how to deal with grief. But this one in particular, really, I feel like would help so many people if you haven't read it. And it's by Iyanla Vanzant. And it's on essence.com. So after losing both of her daughters, Iyanla opens up about how she's navigating grief this holiday season. And so I'm just going to go down to the Q&A and read from there. And hopefully it will help one of my homies to help one of my homies to help one of my homies. So the question is, should I put my glasses on? No, I'm just kidding. As we approach the holidays, what practices do you implement to get you through? How will you work through grief and honor your daughters in this season? And I really don't want to mess up her name. So I feel like it's Jamia or Jamia. Listen, Auntie Iyanla, if you see this, when you see this, just slide in my DMs and give me the correct pronunciation. Okay? So Jamia died on Christmas Day, which was her favorite holiday. Her thing on Christmas was food. Forget the tree and the gifts. Bring the food. So I cook what she loved. Nisa loved to eat. So I will have the things she loved. And it's not in sadness, but focusing on and remembering the joy the food brought them. Jamia loved macaroni and cheese, so plenty of it will be on the table. Nisa wasn't at peace if I didn't have string beans with potatoes, so we'll have that on the table too. The joy is what lifts us up. The regret and remorse is what tears us down. For anyone dealing with a loss this holiday season, I challenge you to do the things that you know brought that other person joy and focus on that instead. The next question is, beyond the holidays, what are some ways you practice self-care? First, I had to build up my no muscle. There's just some stuff I'm not doing, and I will say no without guilt or explanation. That was the first thing I had to do because I was saying yes to so much, and ended up making myself last on my list of priorities. I feel seen. Just in that, I feel seen. The next thing I do is participate in things that simply bring me joy just by doing them. Ooh, girl, those things are shopping, watching Law and Order, the original. Girl, I like SVU. Where you at? I like SVU. The original. Though it has to be the original, and quilting. As I said, wholeness requires mind, body, and spirit. And being a creative is a part of self-care. I've always sewn, but now quilting is my thing. I don't sell my quilts. I don't rush to make them. I'm working on 5 different ones at this very moment. Going to the store to pick out and buy the fabric brings me joy. So that's what I engage in for myself. So I'm going to actually put the article link in the show notes. But that was just a few things that our good auntie Ayanla wanted to share about how she's getting through. And I know every Tuesday I do Grief Talk Tuesday on the Final 48 Project page. And that's one of the things I talk about is, well, what do you do for yourself during the holidays to get through them? Now Aunt Ayanla said that she quilts, she sews. Y'all know I paint my nails. That is my therapy every week. That's my self-care. And then I love talking to y'all about the colors I'm wearing, the stories that's attached to it. You know, that's my thing. That's my jam. Okay. But really be mindful of thinking about what you used to do together. It's okay to make those new memories, or it's just like, man, what is it? The lemon cake? Like, I make sure I have lemon cake around my dad's birthday every year. My sister makes sure that she has one of his special desserts or one of his special cocktails. So we find ways to still celebrate the legacy of my father. And since these last 2 years of me finding family year after year, it's been really beautiful to share new Christmas memories with them. So for this, I didn't even get through paint my nails this time. I guess you'll just have to wait until Monday to see which color I'm going to use. Unless you want to vote now. But you all, I want you to take this time, especially this season. There are a lot of us that are dealing with a lot of loss. Even here recently, it's just pillars of our community are leaving. So when you think about them, think about those people that have poured so much into the community and now their families are without them this holiday season. I'm talking about Coach Harvey and Mrs. McCree, Jay McCree's mom. So be thinking of those families and those people that are definitely grieving this season, and be sure to send them a little love. Maybe it's that article, maybe it's a Final 48 Project post. Maybe it's just something that you've seen online that hopefully will encourage those to work their way through the holiday. All right, y'all. So that wraps up this episode of the Please Do Tell podcast. I am your homegirl, Ronnika, and I want you all to really take care of yourselves this holiday season and do something for yourself. Say yes to you and no to some other stuff. Okay? So we'll see you next time. Holla!